I wrote once, publish globally and perish locally versus publish locally and perish globally. And we don't want this. We need to bridge. I teach my students that writing is part of the research methods. It's not something you do it once your field work is over, not once you say, look, the scientific part is done, and now it's just a kind of a dull translation of factual things you observed, you quantified, etc., into a language that accessible to public or jargonal for your peers. Let me start by this anecdote. I remembered when I was the last year on doing civil engineering in Damascus University, and second year of sociology at the same university. And a professor, his name Muhammad Safwa al-Akhras, he passed away now. He noticed that I'm a weird student. I mean, always jumping and etc. So he took me to his office, and I confessed to him that I am double majoring, and it was illegal in that time in Syria. And so he asked me to work with him. So he gave me materials, I analyze them, and after a few days, he looked at me, he said, look, you are very stingy in words. I mean, and this is the problem of your education background as a civil engineer. I mean, this teach you scientific equation. So I want to liberate you from this. Okay. So I do remember this. I mean, it resonates. I mean, in the beginning it was shocking. It says stingy. I mean, stingy of words. So and then I carry with this as a metaphor that social science need really to handle complexity of social phenomenon, and complexity cannot be handled by yes and no. My first publication was in Arabic before being in French. I have a very close friend, Tunisian, very good in Arabic. So he took it and he looked at it, and he removed all the metaphors and say, no, it's not scientific language. And really, so it become like a skeleton without flesh. I was so influenced by him, this scholar Adel Salmi. And then after he fixed my article, he went to prison for 3 years, and he become like more hero for me. that I cannot. He has an advice I should keep it like a gold. Okay, so I really it takes, I would say, years until I liberate myself from his dear advice, and to learn that actually it's we fool people often by using, it's a kind of symbolic violence when you say no, it's a fact, it's 0-1. Internationalization of humanities and social science is not only important because of globalization, where you have, for instance, the global warming. How would you deal with it within the boundaries, if you like, of nation state? But also funding wise, And I would say it's really how you bring the humanism, the sense of a humanism to our values, to our way of looking to human being, to citizens, and to society. And this dimension, this human dimension, I would say, cannot be realized without this opening to international. So it is really it's a very important. So I am not, if you like, I'm not into at all this trend of decolonizing knowledge, in a sense that, I mean, you say, yeah, there is a Western knowledge come and invade us, and we should really, social science should be stem from inside. I mean, this kind of dichotomy between inside outside doesn't resonate at all to me, and often I would say the unspoken and issues in our understanding of our society and the way we do our social sciences often it's impacted so much by the authoritarian regimes where we are in the Arab world, much more than colonial power. So actually, somehow, I am not, again, put them in a dichotomous way. I would say we should be careful about what is also the hegemonic science. I mean, because come with the language, with the powerful tools, etc., and also all the censorship and the self-censorship because of the authoritarian. So if you like, so far I'm defending the internationalization, including of social science and humanities. So it's, but in the same time, I acknowledge that the debate, the local debate is very different from international debate. I mean, we should accept that we have two different debates, and language is very important to enable these two debates. I come with idea that any publication I do in English should be in Arabic, definitely. I mean, if I start in English, should be in Arabic. And actually, I enjoy so much conversation with my peers internationally. So I have been always keen to also publish in English. So now this is what I do, and sometimes I really don't have time to translate myself into Arabic, so I pay translator into Arabic, so that my text is published in both English and Arabic, and often actually it's not these it's translated first, but then I Arabize them. Arabize them, it means that I take them into the context. I remove things that is not important. It's common sense. I add sometimes more theoretical depth, that the debate is clearer in English, but not for the Arab audience, even the specialized. So there is often a lot of work done. This is another evidence that language is not just a bearer of ideas. I mean, it's generator of ideas. There is a dynamic between ideas and how translated into words. When you write theoretically, I mean, it's important to be translated into Arabic, because you don't want to downplay language, vernacular language into just a field work. I mean, just kind of informational articles, while theory kept to be taken from those who write in English or French. Social science, I mean, at UB, for instance, when I studied UB, I found that in 3 years where I studied the annual report of Faculty of Art and Science, that among 270 books published by faculties, only 2 books published in Arabic. One of them is mine. So you see, it's I'm talking about something very serious. What the meaning of a scholarly community absolutely doesn't address this issue. When I study the scholarly community, the academics, the professors writing op-eds, I almost I would say 80% of academics, they publish in a political color close to them. I mean, there is 2 paradigms. There is a paradigm say you don't why you have a name, why you publish in a journal which is propaganda for violation of human rights in Syria, for instance. So why I publish there, for instance. But for me it is very important. For me it's exactly diversifying my audiences. I write in almost in all journals, and not and if you like. And I learned this very early, that, for instance, when I publish something very critical of Lebanese politics vis-a-vis refugee camps, I publish it in Nahar. And we know media study program, in my department, study who read in Nahar versus Al-Akhbar versus Al-Safir. In Nahar, most of the right-wing people, I mean, and sometimes they are Christian, sometimes not, but I mean, it's very right-wing, okay? And this is where I have a lot of criticism, an insult in reply to me from big authorities. This sometimes bring headache, but really this is how I see science progress. I mean, with controversies. I mean, again, I mean, this if we go to Latour, science always progress by controversy. So there is a question of this conflating Americanism with international, but also we never say sufficiently that academia in the West can be also bear its political biases. I would say I had a very hard time to publish a piece criticizing Human Rights Watch. I mean, just I spent almost 6 months working, comparing Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International to show how they report about the same issue, Palestine. Okay, so I took and so I showed that how human rights is has a kind of very individualistic liberal paradigm of what is a human rights. I mean, so they are not interested in collective rights, and they are not interested when Israel confiscate lands. They are interested when somebody wounded, injured, whether it's Palestinian or Israeli. So they count casualties. They don't see other violation of human rights. So I was very factual, etc. And it went into 6 refereed, the first journal, and the second journal 4 referees. So I end up publish it in French in a very good journal and social movement called, but it has never been published in English. It was published in Arabic and in and it's a pity. For instance, this is not for the Arab audience. It's not for people of Hezbollah who already they curse everything called American. So Human Rights Watch, American organization. So its audience is United States. It's not here. My background in a Syrian public school, where you finish your baccalaureate, it's almost you don't know any foreign language. I mean, I was barely able to compose 3 sentences in English in that time. So I learned slowly by myself English, and I start to write. So I remember a major rite of passage into writing sociological piece in English. It was when I was a laureate of a competition of young sociologists organized by the ISA, the International Sociological Association. So they accept my paper. It was in French, and then just 1 week before going to present the work among other laureates, they just send me a letter, say, by the way, nobody understands French there. Okay, so if you want to be understood, it should be presented in English. The editor of International Sociology journal, I mean, liked my paper, so I said, absolutely, we need to publish it in our journal. So if you like, my first English paper was in a very prestigious journal, but then I think it went so much back and forth. I cannot recognize my paper after being edited, and so it was something like that. I would say I was lucky that the editor has if you like, a duty to take these laureates' papers and transform them into paper. Otherwise, I would have never been able to do it by myself to any English journal. My second English contribution was also a kind of another painful one. It was a research project led by Ian Lustig in Pennsylvania University. I saw correspondence between Ian and his research assistant, saying who was in charge of my paper. So I say, so he keeps saying, no, it's still French, Frenchly written. Okay. And actually, in that time, I started to see the track change and to distinguish between version and to learn from this process. And I would say it's less metaphoric in English. What in the head of Ian Lustig, what is actually international standard of writing a social science pieces. And I would say it's the way it's structured. If you like, the argument is stronger. At certain point, they expect a strong statement. I was a young researcher. Rather, I would brought a lot of nuances, etc. And it was really a tough exchange, specifically in the conclusion, where he wanted, because I was writing something controversial, I was using this French skills of going around the issue, not necessarily, and leave a little bit of a space for interpretation, etc. And say, no, I need a conclusion clear. I forgot to talk about also another rite of passage I have. It was an edited volume. So the editor, one of the editors, Satani Shami, who's a really a great Jordanian anthropologist, she called me to show me about the editing of my article, etc. And and her first comment say, I will take all your footnote and put them inside of the text, and take your text and put them in a footnote. She told me, your footnote is so important and your text is so boring. Yeah, so because she noticed that every time I want to say something interesting, if you like, but hesitant, and I want to extrapolate. I mean, the idea of extrapolating, going beyond the so-called facts, etc. So I put it in the footnote. Social science community in the National University and the Arab world, in some national university is mass production. So they end up, you finish your BA and sometimes master, and you don't have chance to have a feedback with your professor. So as an editor of a journal in Arabic, Arab Journal of Sociology, إضافات called, I often has this problem that there is problem of structure of the paper. There is sometimes it's written in a very schoolish way. For instance, the purpose of a study, 2 point, blah blah blah, hypothesis. I mean, something like very self-evidence. I mean, you put it at. So I work, and then after a few years, I was so tired. So I wrote one article called "Common Mistakes in Writing Social Research," and this. And this so I put it even in so I publish it as a editorial in my journal. It's a long editorial. It's almost 6,000 words, and I put it in academia.org, if you like, and I saw this is where I have thousands and thousands now, no, hundreds of thousands of uploading. I mean, so I wrote, and I wrote really in a humoristic way. In the Arab East, there is so much compartmentalization of elite, and this is what why I wrote once publish globally and perish locally versus publish locally and perish globally. That, and we don't want this. We need to bridge, and I think this is a big issue. We need our students to know how to write in Arabic when they are graduated from social science. Exactly as I advise Doha Institute, my colleagues who design Doha Institute in Qatar, that if you want to Arabize social science, you need to at least to be sure you have 2-3 courses where students read, write, think in English. That to be sure that they intermingle between and handle two different ideas, etc. And I would say that the same UB maybe needs 2 courses, for instance, to be taught in Arabic. I work a lot on sociology of knowledge, and I work a lot on sociology of sociology, if you like. So I look to to knowledge production, and and I study a lot the Islamization of social science, if you like, this trend, and and I show that this trend has led nowhere, if you like. I mean, you don't have an opening. I mean, again, I don't mind to hear at all somebody say, I wanna have a French sociology, American sociology, Kurdish sociology, Christian sociology, Jewish psychology. I don't mind. And as a matter, basically I don't mind, but show me really that how the Jewish context, for instance, Jewish community context impacts so much your thought, and you produce a knowledge which is really specific. So if you show me this, I acknowledge the specificity, if you like. So if you talk specificity, show me where is the specificity, okay? And so also I have an article about Islamization of knowledge. I said I don't, contrary to my very tough secularist, say no, it's a contradiction by itself, Islamizing. No, I said no. Okay, if you can show me how, you keep saying that collective is more important than individual in Islamic society. Okay, show me how you can understand better your society by this principle, for instance. Okay, so I play this, and I show that in fact this you don't have an original thought after. You spend 95% of your effort to say we are different, and say okay, you are different, okay, we agree, what next? And we don't see the next. Okay, so this is, and the same thing with some decolonizing knowledge. Say we should decolonize. Okay, what next? Show me something. So it's the same. And I would say, so I do believe in an old longest Iranian one. His name is Abdul al-Qahir al-Jarjani, who argues, say, look, let the science, social science, has their principles based on observation, etc. Don't disturb them by normative sense. Don't disturb them by saying that you should this and this, that, and divorce is bad, and don't tell them anything, okay? And pursue your religious studies, okay, interpreting text, etc., going all this, okay? And then if you end up, if you deal with the one social phenomenon and you end up by contradicting prescriptions, one come from social science, one come from religious science, or let the language resolve this contradiction. So the language has, according to Jarjani, who lived in 10th century, okay, telling us that language has a lot of potentiality of resolving problems, because language, you keep interpreting the sacred books in a way to better understand, etc. And the language will enable you more and more to understand social actors, what kind of meanings they put for to their actions. That the meanings go beyond what vocabulary you have. So stretch your language in that, and that language will end up by bridging. Okay, so I like this so much. I like, and if you like this way, I keep the social science immune from too much normativity, okay, and I keep the religion functioning in a kind of also its own epistemes and etc. So and the language will do the miracle of bridging, if you like.